Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Fatin Amira binti Chasman and my metric number is 206418. Today, I will be presenting about the agriculture industry task. The topic that I've chosen for agriculture industry presentation is paddy field. First of all, what is paddy field? Paddy, also called rice paddy, small level flooded field used for growing rice in South and East Asia. Rice was domesticated as early as 3500 before Christ and cultivated about 2000 years ago in almost all present-day growing areas, mainly in deltas, floodplains, and coastal plain, as well as on some terrace and valley slope. It is the main staple food in Asia, where about 90% of the world rice is produced and consumed. Moreover, the vast majority of Asians not only eat rice as a staple food, but most of them, except in the northwest of Indian subcontinent and in northern China, also grow it. Rice is grown throughout Malaysia and covers about 600,000 hectares of cultivated land. Bulk of the country's annual production of nearly 2 million tons of paddy comes from granary area. Today, about 2 billion people, or nearly one-third of the world's population, still depending on small farms, and 90% of them are in Asia. In Malaysia, there are 0.3 million paddy farmers, of which 40% are full-time farmers. This shows that the importance of rice in the lives of the vast majority of Asians needs not to emphasis. Next, I would like to share with all of you about the history of paddy cultivation. As Asian people, we must have been wondering about the history of rice that have become staple food in our daily life. Rice paddy, or the scientific name which is Oryza sativa, was domesticated from the wild grass called as Oryza rufi pegon about 10,000 to 40,000 years ago. Another cultivated species, named Oryza glaberrima, was domesticated much later, West Africa. Based on archaeological evidence, it is believed that rice was first domesticated in the Yangtze River Valley region of China. Meanwhile, paddy farmers in Malaysia also have their own history. According to historians, people who migrated from north to south in the Malay archipelago about 3,000 years ago introduced a type of rice plant to Malaysia and Southeast Asia. The discovery of a flat knife in Sungai Tembeling, Pahang led historians to believe that the knife was used to harvest rice. This knife was used by farmers in the Neolithic period. At the time of the Indian traders who did business in Malacca, rice was already being cultivated in the area. Now, we will going to discuss about paddy cultivation in Malaysia. In pre-colonial and early colonial times, rice was of paramount importance as a crop in the Malaya, with the exception of some indigenous shifting cultivators. Permanently cultivated land was rice land, and land development means development for rice cultivation. According to study from Harun and Arif, the land area for paddy production has remained at an average of 677,000 hectares until 2014, giving the area of paddy harvest a growth rate of 0.2%. Paddy field mainly can be found in states of Malaysian Peninsula, with most field usually located in the northern states such as Kedah, Perlis, Perak, and Penang. Paddy fields can also be found on the east coast of Malaysia, in Kelantan and Terengganu. The central state of Selangor also has its share of paddy fields, especially in the districts of Kuala Selangor and Sabak Bernam. Compared to the global rice production, Malaysia is only a minor rice producer, contributing only 0.4% of the global total output. Next, there are many importance of paddy field sector for people and nation. Rice is life for most people in Asia. This seed is not just a plate filler for many people, but it is also the livelihood for a fifth of the world's population who rely on rice cultivation as an income. Rice has shaped and created the cultures, diets, and economies of millions of people around the world. On top of that, the paddy sector plays an important role in providing livelihood for the rural population in Malaysia. Since the 1960s, farm income has been the main source of income for rural households in Malay village. According to a report by United Nations Development Programme, there is still a need to place a strong emphasis on agriculture and rural development to increase the income of poor farmers and farm workers by increasing their productivity. Then, paddy field sector also can create job opportunity for people. Obviously, there is a connection with the existence of this rice paddy will certainly lead to produce rice, and the farmers definitely do rice cultivation. Now, the farmers planting rice cannot be done alone because it will take a long time by doing these crops alone. But finding workers will help the process of planting to be shorter and faster. Thus, the person that helped to assist in the process of planting rice will getting job by owner and will certainly get salary or wages for his work. Furthermore, paddy field sector also will generate the national economy. Rice production is a key item in the national agricultural policy because it is the staple food of the people in Malaysia. The rice sector was targeted to be 65% self-sufficient in order to ensure its accessibility and availability, particularly during a food crisis. Because of its importance, the paddy industry has received special attention from the government. To ensure that the nation's rice supply is adequate, the government has formulated various policies to drive this industry. The formulation of the policy and the economic development in the country have always been revised depending on the current local situation and also that of the world rice market. As we all know, the COVID-19 disease spread rapidly across 6 continents. Many countries around the world have declared public health emergencies. In Southeast Asia, rice farmers are struggling with one of the worst health issues in history, which is challenge from the pandemic COVID-19. At the same time, global demand for food supplies is driving consumer rice price to level not seen since the 2008 global economic crisis. For example, rice traders in India, who is the world's largest rice exporter, suspended export for 3 weeks in early April due to a nationwide lockdown. Even after reopening, labor shortage and logistical disruption have obstructed the delivery of rice contracts. In Malaysia, the COVID-19 epidemic has tested the resilience of the agricultural sector. The pandemic has a significant impact on Malaysia's agricultural industry, especially the paddy sector, as the country imports 40% of its consumption from various countries. In a developing country like Malaysia, which is one of the world's growing economies, concerns have arisen about the threat of economic downturn and contraction. In the final analysis, we can see that paddy field sector is very important and vital role for our food supply, especially people who are living in Southeast Asia. It has been estimated that rice has fed more people over a longer period than any other crop. One half of the world population and virtually all of East and Southeast Asia are entirely dependent upon rice. The rice production originated from all these countries together accounts for more than 3/4 of the total world production. For the future, it is imperative that rice production continue to grow at least as fast as population, if not faster. annual global paddy rice production will need to increase significantly over the next 30 years to keep pace with population growth and income-driven food demand. So that's all from me. Thank you.